Peter's back. Super convenient that he decides to join after the one game that the Yankees win. Where were you the
Okay.
last three?
Can we dispel this rumor very, very quickly? Because I know I'm coming out of the podcast right after the Yankees won 11-4. By the way, the Yankees won. The Yankees did win, and they let us win one. And people are going to be, I can already hear the YouTube comments.
It's like,
Oh,
oh, you're back now.
Oh, he only shows up after wins, huh? Why weren't you here during the losses? I stand in front of my losses. That's what I do. I've done that all year. I've done that since we started the podcast. It is
You
nothing about
conveniently haven't.
losses.
You conveniently haven't
It
in the
is
World
nothing about
Series.
losses. You know why? Because I'm going to stand on a big time loss that I've already kind of endured. And it's from what I have said on this podcast about the series. I've been wrong by a lot of things. We got to catch up. We really got to catch up here. So, Sunday, right? Courting on Sunday for Monday. That's normally Jack and Arms Day, right? I got the football stuff. They handled that day. So, that's not my scheduled day. Monday, I got the opportunity to go to the Yankee game. I'm going to go to
Go
the
to the
Yankee
Yankee
game.
game. You go to the World Series.
I
Yeah,
get to
the
go to the
Yankee game is
Yankee
also
game.
called World Series Game 4
I get to go to the Yankee game.
or Game
The
3. Yeah.
Yankee game. Well, they did lose that game, and it was pure torture the entire time because sitting in that stadium after Freddie Freeman hits the 2-run home run, and we're just praying for any glimmer of hope, and we never got it for 9 straight innings. So the crowd was tense. It was horrible, but at the same time, I'm in the building for the World Series. So here's my promise, everybody. No matter what happens for the rest of the series, I will be on this podcast to react. So I don't want to hear about it. Oh, he skipped out. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It was a scheduling mishap, and I'm back. Let's talk about how the Yankees won today, though.
Well, you're confirmed saddled in for the next three. You're confirmed tonight. You're confirmed after Game 5, and if this game does get to a Game 6, then you're confirmed in for Game 6 as well. By the way, it's the Just Baseball show for Wednesday, October 30th. Happy Halloween Eve, Jack and Peter. Who's it presented by?
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. And I would say they have something new for the postseason, but we've been ripping it. BetMGM Sportsbook account holders who opt into the bullpen jackpot promotion and place a straight bet of at least $10 of their choice on any MLB player to hit a home run will win a share of a daily $50,000 BetMGM bullpen jackpot if the player they wagered on hits a home run that lands in an MLB team bullpen. Prizing is going to get paid out in bonus bets that expire in 7 days. The offer is available, again, for the rest of the World Series. Place a $10 wager on any MLB player to hit a home run. If that home run lands in an MLB team bullpen on that day, you get a share of $50K in bonus bets. But remember, right? You bet on Shohei and you bet on Aaron Judge, for example. If they both hit a bullpen, you get a share of multiple 50,000 daily prizes. Make sure to use code JUSTBASEBALL for that first bet offer up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your wager loses to get started. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. Before we talk about this game, can I get in front of what I think is starting to look like the worst take I've ever had on this podcast?
No, you saying that the Reds should entertain a trade offer for Ellie De La Cruz is the
That's
worst take
that's
in the
still a
history
good
of
take.
this pod.
No, that's still a good take. They should technically entertain it and see what could
It's not.
happen.
Do you want to share what you texted earlier tonight?
What did I text earlier tonight?
Rangers.
Oh, no, that's for the offseason. And that's
Okay,
not a
got
bad
it.
take. That's a sneaky outside the
I
box
don't
thing that
think
we're going to
that's a
cover.
good
I'm
take.
going to
I
convince you.
don't
I'm
think
going to
it's a
convince
good
you.
take.
No, and that's a major foreshadowing for the offseason. We got big time plans here, but no, I want to step out in front of something. I said on this show, and I could understand, honestly, it's such a bad take that I understand if people don't ever want to listen to me ever again, it's this bad. How do I say this? Basically, everything I said was so wrong about Freddie Freeman.
Yep.
On this podcast, when I was pitching the Yankees to win the World Series, I said that there is no way that Freddie Freeman is going to be healthy enough to be the Freddie Freeman that we're used to. There is no way. He was limping. He was held out against lefties. He said he was 100%, but I know Freddie's a warrior. So I knew even if he wasn't 100%, he was going to say that anyway. So I went into the series thinking, and a lot of my analysis was predicated on this because Freddie is such an impactful player, a future Hall of Famer, one of the best players that we have in this game, an absolute legend. So in my thinking was he wasn't going to be healthy. So this Dodgers offense was going to struggle a little bit. Mookie's been great, but Shohei's been struggling. So imagine if I was right about Freddie. Here's the thing. I was so wrong. So freaking wrong. And that's just such a testament to Freddie. I keep calling him a legend because he is. And I doubted him. I doubted the health. I never doubted him as the player. I just doubted the health. But he looks amazing. And on top of it, he's beating out grounders, speeds there. He looks fantastic, dead wrong. I've been wrong about other things too about this series so far because it is
Yeah.
3-1 and I picked the
Right.
Yankees. But that was just such a glaringly bad read that I had to just talk about it as soon as I got back on the show.
I did a live check of the MGM odds for World Series MVP last night post game, and Freddie was at minus 1,600. That has to be even higher now.
Well, no,
Nobody
not
has
higher
ever,
now. It wouldn't be higher
or
now because they
lower.
just lost a game. Yeah.
Yeah, lower. I meant like
Yes.
higher, like
Yeah.
a more negative number. So I
Yes.
guess lower odds. Like they have to be worse odds now. Wouldn't that
Yes.
be worse, even though for Freddie Freeman they're
No,
better odds?
they would be better odds if you want to bet Freddie now
I don't.
because it
I
would be
want to bet Freddie
cheaper.
less, so it would be worse odds.
Yes, it would be cheaper now to bet Freddie than it would be before
Okay.
this game 4 win by the Yankees, and they won
The
11-4, by the way.
the best way my simpleton pea brain can ingest that is Freddie should be even more of a favorite after game 4. Nobody in big league history has homered in 6 consecutive World Series games until now. Freddie Freeman did it in his final 2 games with the Atlanta Braves, and he did it in all 4 games of this series to this point.
He's incredible, and I feel like a complete dunce. I should be wearing a dunce hat.
I think you lost us on the Freeman to Rizzo comp. And I know that it wasn't a direct comp, but when you were essentially like weighing them and you didn't just say, oh, Freddie's 10 times the player Rizzo is right now, let's move on. As soon as you didn't do that, I think that's when Aram and I smelled the blood in the water. And now it's like we're kind of eating I don't want to be like too graphic, but I'm just thinking about shark attacking, bloody fish, that kind of thing. Like we're having lunch right now.
I understand. Let's talk about how the Yankees won
Okay.
because they shouldn't have let us win this one. Yankees Dodgers top of the first. Mookie doubles down the line on a nasty changeup. I thought it was a good pitch by Luis Heel, but Mookie's just better. Doubles down the line. Freddie Freeman then homers to make the score 2-0. Like you said, Freddie Freeman, first player ever to hit a home run in 6 consecutive World Series games. Just incredible. Bottom of the first, though, that fan interference. The fan tried to pull the ball out of Mookie's glove. What was your first reaction when you saw that? For me, I saw a fan that just wanted it more.
I saw a guy that embodied the New York Yankee fan base better than anybody else could.
I did say in the group chat, I think he's WFAN's #1 caller. That's
Yes,
Stan
to
from
be.
Long Island just
I mean,
shouting about how much he hates Aaron Boone.
dude, like I saw that guy's fit. I saw the all black Yankee hat, like the black on black NY logo, and I saw like the double chin that he went to try and, like literally pry the glove open. I mean, the way that he attacked it with 2 hands, it looked like he was at a crawfish boil, like he was trying to crack open a crab leg. It was insane to watch, and you know that guy's like, hey, what you doing over here in my section? Like, that's who that guy is. That was my immediate reaction. Like, you're so ridiculously New York, man.
So for one thing, I just want to make sure I'm so glad Mookie didn't get hurt or anything from
For
that
sure.
because that is dangerous. He's holding him up against the wall, prying him up. Like, what if he bent his wrist back too far
Yeah.
and it ruined Mookie Betts? So,
Did you see
so
the other guy grab Mookie on the forearm?
yeah, I mean, it's just a complete dipshit move by a couple of morons. I mean, just I was gonna go too far there. Let's reel it back in. They were idiotic, dumbassery, stupid. But what I do want to say is a lot of Dodger fans were having a lot of fun calling out how bad Yankee fans were. I remember that they were throwing shit at Profar a week and a half ago.
And
That's what I
Tatis?
remember.
I don't
And
forget it.
Tatis. So what I will say is Dodger fans, don't start getting in there as if Yankee fans are these bad fans. When the Dodger fans were doing something not quite similar, but in the same breath, we're all a bunch of shitheads right now. There's a lot of energy. Dipshit move by those fans, dipshit move by the Dodger fans. We're all just trying to win a World Series, but obviously condemning the actions by those moronic Yankee fans. I mean, that guy's never going to be in an MLB ballpark ever again.
No, but I thought it was good because that was as New York looking of a
Oh, yeah.
person as there was.
I mean, he looked like the state.
Yeah.
Like he was built like the state of New York.
Wide in the middle.
Yeah, just kind of pointy in weird areas. Yeah, he was yeah, that dude that guy stopped at a dollar pizza right after and probably had like 17 slices.
It's
I
like
mean, that
shit. I
dude was
got booted. Time to go to the bodega.
that dude definitely just stole the Parmesan and the red pepper flakes, those things that they leave out
Bringing it
for
home for
everybody
the
to
kids.
he stole those after the game. He's like, I'm coming away with something.
Yes,
It's true though. Like, I
it
mean,
is. It is.
and I just can't. I wish we could interview him. Just be like, what the hell were you doing? And just
Yeah,
ask
but
him
like,
that question,
I
him
would
give his
love
answer,
to
and then
just say,
no.
"Hey, why were you a dumbass?"
Yeah, just
I've got questions.
all right. But the bottom of the first, though, we're still at the first inning. Soto walks, Judge walks, Jazz moves them over, and then Stanton grounds out Stranding two. We go to the bottom of the second. For the first time that the Yankees scored, Volpe walks. Austin Wells hits a bomb to center. Volpe very in between on his read and somehow doesn't score. Volpe luckily made up for it later in the game, but that felt like we just lost the World Series on that play. Immediate reaction to that, just because the base running hasn't been good. We needed the big hit. Austin Wells finally delivers that big time hit, and then Volpe only makes it to third. Luckily, Verdugo then grounds out, giving the Yankees their first run. And I think
Yes.
if we just look at the at bats after that, wouldn't have mattered, right? Volpe would have scored, ground ball, because they were saying Austin Wells would have made it to third on that play. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it looked like you guys lost the World Series in that moment.
That's why I said my immediate reaction as a Yankee fan, very upset
Yeah,
in the
I understand.
moment. Yes.
I think my immediate reaction to that was, oh, the vibes aren't right. That was my thought, where it's like, oh, this team is really pressing. I don't know what really happened with the read, because we didn't get the perfect camera shot where you get the ball in flight in the background of Volpe. Like
We
we
did.
didn't
I
I
saw it
didn't
on
see that.
TV. He was like hanging around. So he didn't quite go back to the bag. He was almost doing halfway and kind of bouncing and bouncing closer to second base. Then it hits the wall. And then he does this big turn and goes to third and wasn't able to score.
I saw the
So
two shots isolated. So I saw the movements that you're talking about, but I didn't see like where he could have seen the ball clearly get over the center fielder's head. But even then, like that's the type of batted ball and the type of bounce off the wall. Volpe cannot be standing at third base.
but even so, stand on second, make sure you're there. And then as soon as you see it hit the wall, I bet he could have scored if he was right there, because he
No
did
doubt.
this big old turn because his momentum was going in the opposite direction, and then he had to go and he made a wider turn versus right there. Zooms. Maybe he wouldn't have made it. It was a relatively tough read because you also don't want to make an out on the bases there, but still not a good read. Not a good read by Anthony Volpe. But we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's currently 2-1 Dodgers. Aaron Judge gets hit by a pitch. Jazz hits one to the wall. What a play by Mookie. I wasn't even mad at Jazz on that one. What a play by Mookie to hold him at first base. Jazz is quick. He wasn't pimping that. He didn't think it was going to be a home run. And that was just an incredible play by Mookie Betts. Judge goes to third. Jazz steals second. Stanton walks. Rizzo pops out. And there's two outs. And Anthony Volpe has an opportunity to make up for that bad base running decision. And that he did. Grand slam to make the score 5-2. You got anything on that before I go to the fifth inning?
Not really. That was a humongous swing.
I did post on Twitter. Torch has been passed.
No. No.
Why not?
From who? From Didi Gregorius?
Yes.
Okay.
No, from Jeter to fucking Volpe. Yes.
Really?
That's
I'm
how
gonna
I
look at the
choose to
regular
believe it.
season numbers and report back.
Oh, Gold Glove maybe. Top of the fifth. Will Smith homers to right field. 5-3 Yankees. Good for the Dodgers. Tommy Edman walks. Shohei singles. Mookie grounds out. And then Freddie grounds into a double play, but call overturned. He was objectively safe. Run scores. 5-4 Yankees lead. I'm getting a little bit nervous, not going to lie. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit nervous about at this point because I know that we need insurance runs because I was pretty positive that the Dodgers were going to continue to score. And that we did. Bottom of the sixth inning, Austin Wells homers to right field, 6-4 Yankees. Could have had 2 home runs in this game. Swings look great. If the bottom of the Yankees lineup is hitting like this, they can beat any team at any given time. And then we continue. Still 6-4 Yankees. Bottom of the eighth, Volpe doubles. Just keeps hitting. Wells walks. Double steal for Wells and Volpe. Verdugo grounds it to Lux. Throw is late. Volpe scores. 7-4 Yankees. Gleyber Torres then steps up to the plate. 3-run home run for Gleyber makes it 10-4. Juan Soto then doubles. Yankees ain't done yet. Judge singles to left. Soto scores 11-4 Yankees. Luke Weaver was able to save some of his bullets. He was going to come out for the ninth inning. Tim Meza did the job instead. Yankees win 11-4. They shouldn't have let us back in this series, Jack. They shouldn't have done it.
Okay, fair. This was a great win from the Yankees. The fact that you can save some Weaver bullets going into 2 straight games here at one more, pardon, at Yankee Stadium is pretty important.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means that Weaver can come back. Now, guaranteeing a win with this guy going, what, 2 1/3? Was it 2 1/3 or 2 2/3 for Weaver if he would have gone
If
to ninth?
it would have been 2 1/3.
2 1/3. The fact that this guy has the ability to do that after becoming a closer this year, and obviously he has ample starting experience in the big leagues and the upper minors. Like, this guy can go longer, but he is kind of a Swiss Army knife, but also like just the perfect guy for the New York Yankees because
Yeah.
Aaron Boone in the 7th inning could turn to the pen and say, you know what, give me the guy. Not many organizations in Major League Baseball can do that at this point. I don't think Cleveland can do that. Cleveland tried doing that with Class A, trying to get, 5, 6 outs. I think Oakland and the White Sox could do it with Liam Hendricks at the peak of his powers. But there are very few frontline relievers that can give you 2 innings plus. And I think Weaver is in that very limited company.
And he gives the Yankees that pitch, that changeup that the Dodgers just have a little bit of struggles against, right? This team pillages four-seam fastballs. They pillage sliders, right? If you got these heavy fastball slider guys like the Dodgers can hit them. But the changeups, they give them a little bit of problem. And having a guy like that who's going to come in to get those final 3 outs, or like you said, potentially final 6 outs in a game,
Yeah.
that pitch is a dagger. It's so important for him, and I'm so glad we got him.
Yeah. He's phenomenal.
So what else we got on this series? You want to talk about anything else?
I mean, do you want to hit the Volpe Grand Slam like a little bit farther in depth?
I just thought it was so big for him, right? And I even wrote in my write-up when I took Alex Verdugo props, cash those, that Volpe was really struggling with spin in this series. I'm talking about these breaking balls, right? He looked a little bit in between, which is reasonable. I mean, the guy is still super, super young. But the fact is, he had this kind of game offensively, and then defensively, he's been great and had another great game defensively. But the offense from him, and it's so big, especially in the bottom of the lineup with the young guys, because it's not just Volpe, it's Austin Wells too. I mean, Austin Wells, Katie Sharp, who does great work, she posted that Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe were the first pair of teammates 25 or younger to both homer in a World Series game for the Yankees since 1957.
Wow.
And then I commented under it, they also have to be the first 2 teammates under 25 to both also steal a base in the same game because of that
Well,
double steal.
that was Wells's second career stolen base, third career stolen base? There
Not
are
sure,
not
but
many.
it was definitely his first of the postseason.
Right.
And I commented that, and then she quote tweeted and said they are the first pair of teammates to homer in the same game and steal a base in the same game that are under 25 years old. Now, it's kind of an ESPN stat. We get that sometimes when I give out stats on this podcast. I get it, but still, to have those 2 guys hitting like they did, with Verdugo even at the bottom of the lineup, 3 balls today hit over 95 miles an hour. And the Yankees have just been waiting for this, the big hit. They've just been leaving runners on base every single AB, and everybody's blaming it all on Judge.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys in the lineup who are rocking sub 600 OPSs. So to get it from everybody today just felt like a win that just that can propel you, right? They had 18 balls today that were hit over 95 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That just feels good. Like
feels really
everyone
good.
was contributing. The only player without a hard hit ball today was Anthony Rizzo. Funny enough, relating back to Freddie Freeman. But to be fair,
He,
Anthony Rizzo is hitting 308. Just saying.
yeah, a lot of singles. We talked about that.
Hey, I'll take
Citing
it.
WRC plus and a 14 at bat sample.
I think it was less than 14 ABs.
I
Never
think it
mind.
was I think it was like 6 for 14 with 5 singles. I think that resulted in his 130 something
Yeah,
WRC
that
plus.
makes sense. And then I said he's almost hitting 500 because that
Yeah,
was
exactly.
technically correct.
Technically correct.
Yes.
Bingo. He is a liability at this point. Like
Who
he
is?
is Rizzo.
No. What do you mean liability?
Singles, dude. Like
Who
he's
cares?
not gonna impact the baseball.
Liability is crazy if he's hitting 300. I don't care if it's all singles. If you're hitting 300, I
Dude,
don't care if it's all singles. Hitting in the sixth hole.
That bases loaded AB was non-competitive from him.
No, I agree, right? He's not perfect, but in the sixth hole, if you're hitting 300, it's fine. I'm not saying he's lighting up the scoreboard. I'm
Yeah.
not saying, but he's nowhere near the problem of this team.
Okay, maybe liability was unfair, but I do believe that he is, coming into this game, it was Austin Wells. Like Wells was the runt of the litter for the New York Yankees. Now that Wells can give you that type of swing, I do think that Rizzo is the runt of the litter in the
No, I
Yankee
mean,
lineup.
the runt of the litter, I mean, it's still like, I mean, Jazz Chisholm has a 491 OPS.
Chisholm ripped a couple balls today.
He has a 491 OPS. Rizzo has an 801 OPS in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
but like I'm watching the games, man, and I feel way better about what Jazz is giving me than what Rizzo's giving me right now.
Well, Jazz's ability to steal bases is so huge. And then Volpe again, and that's what was just impressing me. Like when Jazz gets on base, absolutely, he's way more of a threat. But the thing is, like, the numbers are the numbers. I mean, he has almost double the OPS. I agree with you in the sense of like Rizzo is not putting up great ABs, but you can't tell me that Jazz is either. He just isn't. He's hitting 170. He just isn't.
I think Jazz is posing a greater threat to the opposition that Anthony Rizzo is at this point. And if you disagree, okay. I would, I'll stand by that. I know what the numbers are the numbers, but I would 10 times out of 10 rather have Jazz Chisholm in my lineup than Anthony Rizzo right now.
I just totally disagree. If
Okay.
there was we needed a big hit, I
Okay.
would way rather have Rizzo up there than Jazz.
Interesting. All right. Austin Wells, by the way, second career stolen base for him. Like, how much do you feel like that swing did for an Austin Wells?
Huge. I mean, both swings too. He just had to see one go through. The guy's been hitting the ball hard all year. And then he comes in after catching the most games, right? This guy's a rookie. He caught all year. Legs are probably completely gone from under him. And then he's getting blown up by really good pitching, right? We talked about the Yankees' path. It was easy when it comes to the offenses that they faced, made their pitchers look really good. But I still stand on the fact that the pitching they saw was not a challenging path. So you're seeing different bullpen arms from Cleveland all the time with no legs.
Yeah.
You're seeing elite starting pitching from the Royals with Lucas Urseg. And then you have a couple of these lefties that can get Austin Wells out. So in this series now, to see a couple ones go through is just so big for the mental, right? And just to make contact like that. We were talking about that with Judge, even though it didn't really matriculate into better ABs. But today he looked good.
So,
Today he
like
looked good.
my next question was going to be Judge, but finish your Wells point, and then we'll get to Judge.
No, that's mostly what I was going to say. It's such a confidence booster. And it's not just about like getting a base hit or anything like that. It's squaring one up and then doing it twice in the same game. So going into the next game and even in his post-game presser, or not really post-game presser, it was just on the field. It was like a post-game interview.
Yeah.
He kind of said, screw it. Like I was just going to lay it all out there on the line. And so when he has that mentality going into that game, and then he has two hard hit balls, one was a homer, one was 5 inches away from being a homer.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go into the next game. I'm keeping the same mentality and I'm just going to keep rolling. And now that confidence for a young player, Volpe too. That's why those two guys hitting today was the most impactful thing for the Yankees today.
So different kind of conversation with Aaron Judge, but how much do you think that RBI single does for an Aaron Judge? Obviously, it was late. Obviously, it was low leverage, but I mean, like he did look better today over the course of every single at bat. I thought seeing one get down the left field line and like seeing a run come in, that could be all he needs. That could also just be, oh, it's garbage time, low leverage Judge strikes again. You have all of these narratives surrounding him, and I don't know. I hope he's not listening to everybody right now.
No, the thing is with Judge, hypothetically, like in a vacuum, you're correct for any other hitter. But Aaron Judge, it just seems like it doesn't really matter the production for him. And I know that sounds weird, but I think he is. And what makes him the most prolific hitter during the regular season is that he is one pitch at a time. He's one at bat at a time. When he strikes out, I don't really think that it gets to him. And I know people will say, well, what do you mean? He's clearly feeling the pressure. I don't think he's feeling the pressure. I think that baseball is a really, really tough game. And I think his swing is just a little bit off right now. An arm broke it down, cheating for fastballs. The swing rate is way up. And I think he's trying to overcompensate by swinging more, but I don't think it's a pressure thing. And I also don't think that a strikeout affects him. And I also don't think that a single to left field to score a run where he hits the ball hard affects him either. I think it's really just about him figuring out his swing. And he could still luck into one in garbage time, or he could have struck it out there. I don't think that really affects him. I think he's really game by game, at bat by at bat, and pitch by pitch. And that's what makes him such a good player. And that's why when he goes into slumps, it does look bad because the swing is just off. We've seen this during the regular season. Now, it doesn't last very long because he's such a prolific player, but it's lasting a little bit longer in the playoffs, which is now, obviously an issue for the Yankees because the Yankees cannot beat the Dodgers if he's not hitting consistently. They're just really, really, really good. So we need everybody on the team in order to compete with them. And when the best hitter on the team is not hitting,
Yeah.
it's 3-1.
I do like that they won this game without Stanton or Soto being the, runaway star. Like if we were to
Yeah.
do, the hockey thing, the third star, second star, first star of a game, I'm not sure if Soto and Stanton are making that rundown,
They went 2 for 7 today
which
combined, and the
is
Yankees put up 11.
which is incredibly encouraging that it
Yeah.
doesn't have to just be those two guys. Now, granted, they did it against LA's D team on the mound, and they saw Kasperias to open, and they saw Daniel Hudson, who just did not have it. They saw Knack, they saw Honeywell. They get a different beast tomorrow, and we are going to preview that game in a moment. I have one more question about this game. How encouraged on a scale of 1 to 10 were you with Luis Gil's start?
What is the like a 5? I don't even know how to answer that because I felt like I knew what I was going to see. Luis Gil, he's just not quite good enough to beat the Dodgers. I don't know how to say that in a nicer way or even in a more analytical way, but I feel like we all see it. He's a young pitcher. Command can get away from him. And under the bright lights against a team that doesn't chase, he's going to have some issues. Probably his last appearance in the postseason, unless he
Yeah.
comes out of the bullpen. And the fact is that the Yankees want to start, and that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah.
The walks were going to be there. He was going to be throwing fuzz. There was a lot of balls that just got completely away from him. And that can happen to Luis Gil. So when he's facing a really disciplined team that hits fastballs and sliders well, it's just his mix doesn't work. And his lack of experience is showing in just who he is as a pitcher, where he needs you to chase.
Yeah.
He needs you to go outside the zone. And like Mookie and Freddie and Shohei and Teoscar, they don't go outside the zone.
Right.
So 0, I guess, or 5 or 10. I don't know where to put it on the scale because I knew that it was going to come, that he was going to give up some runs and we just had to score more if we were going to win this game.
It sounds like 3 or 4. Like it sounds
Sure.
like that's where you would put it, but 5 is like, yeah, I just totally expected him to do exactly what he did. So you're
Kind of did
probably
though.
close to 5. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Um, I thought he was fine. Man, like the fastball looked lively.
yeah,
Slider was good when he was in the strike zone, but again,
got
he
great
always struggles
stuff.
to find the strike zone. Like
Yeah.
he has great stuff, and he would not be in line to start another game. It will be Cole game 5, and if they get back to LA, Rodon game 6. and then it would be in line for Schmidt to go game 7. I wouldn't be shocked to see a mishmash in game 7
Oh
and
yeah.
maybe they bullpen it. I don't think you can run Schmidt out there and be like, yeah, ball's yours. Let's go 5 innings in game 7.
Yeah, I do have more faith that Schmidt could bounce back, but I'm saying more faith than I would Luis Heel. Like
Yeah.
it's really on Cole has to get us to game 6.
Yeah.
Rodon has to be better, and then it's all hands on deck and anything could happen in game 7. But
Yeah.
I'm like somewhat joking about they let us win one, but
But
I
you can
do
see the
have
path. You can
I
see the path.
you can see the path, and I do have the utmost confidence in Garrett Cole. And everything that I said about Jack Flaherty going into this series, the Yankees matching up against him, I still believe those numbers are still the same. It's just Jack Flaherty, after 10 days of rest, was throwing 95, and he executed perfectly. See him do it again. And I think Dodger fans would agree. Like, we have a lot more faith in Garrett Cole doing it again than Jack Flaherty doing it again. And then
Yeah.
the Dodgers, of course, crush lefties. That's going to be a very tough game if we get there. But we've
Yeah.
also now seen Yamamoto twice. Maybe he dominates us again, but maybe he doesn't, and then it's game 7 and anything can happen.
It's crazy that you're just ripping we and us left and right now. We
I
already
feel a part
started
of
the
the
game
team.
5. Yeah, I guess. Um, what you were a PWO at Nevada, is that right? Where did you have your opportunity, your preferred walk on?
Yes, so I, coming out of high school, preferred walk-on spot at the University of Nevada,
Yeah, you're pretty
but
much on the Yankees.
but my arm was falling apart. I knew I was never going to actually
Yeah,
make it on
us and
campus and
we. All right,
be
us
able to
and we
perform
card
the
is
game.
good if you're a preferred walk on in Nevada. I'm
But yeah,
totally
I agree. I am an athlete that would be good enough to play for the Yankees. You are correct.
excellent.
Yeah.
So we already started the game 5 preview. You mentioned it, and I agree. I have zero doubt that Garrett Cole will do his part in getting this series back out west. I
Yes.
have no doubt that he will perform to the standard that is needed there. He performed to that standard in game 1. I think that he can replicate, or even better, what he did in game 1 in game 5 with his back against the wall in his own ballpark. I'm not sure how I feel about Flaherty in Game 5, and I'll give you the rundown of how it stood in Game 1 for Jack Flaherty. Flaherty was 40% knuckle curve. He was about 40% four seamer and 20% slider.
Curve was working.
Curve was working.
Yeah.
The four seamer was back to season average. He was sitting 93.6. His season average was 93.3. He was down to 91.6 in that blow up start against the Mets. I don't know if that's World Series adrenaline. I don't know if that was a mental reset. Whatever
Both,
he's got,
probably. Probably both. And that's why he
both.
was like sitting 96 in the first inning or first 2 innings.
Whatever he's got to do to replicate that and to be 93.6, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Because Jack Flaherty will not survive at 91.6 like he was at in the NLCS. This is a better lineup.
And especially how good the ABs were today, and then seeing him again, right? He executed perfectly, and all props to him. He was otherworldly phenomenal. Proved me wrong again. Some bad takes already from me. He was phenomenal, but I do have faith. Like, his pitch mix matches up with what the Yankees have crushed all season long. And having those at bats today, moving into that, I don't think the velo is going to be exactly the same. So it's going to be on him to execute perfectly again, which I think is a tough ask. I just think that's a tough ask to do.
And it's doable. And hell, like
Doable.
he doesn't even need to execute to the level that he did in game 1 because he got 19 whiffs. He got 17 swings, 12 of which resulted in a whiff on that curveball.
It's a really good point too, because even if he doesn't execute perfectly again, what does his line look like? Because he really only made one mistake in that game, that home run to Stanton. He made one, and that wasn't even that bad of a pitch.
No.
Stanton just golfed it. I mean, that freakazoid.
I mean, I'm really excited for what we get tonight because this starting pitching matchup gave us an all-time World Series game in game
Yes.
1. And I'm not saying that it's going to be an all-time World Series game because obviously not every game fits that standard, but it does feel like Garrett Cole, if Flaherty is on, Cole is going to match him. If Flaherty is not on, Cole is going to be better. I know you don't want me saying it right now. I would absolutely say advantage Yankees as we're recording on, at 12:10 p.m. on Wednesday the 30th.
That's why I felt so good about this game. I really do think that we're going to win tomorrow. Now, anything could happen, of course, but this is the game you pay Garrett Cole all the money for. This is the game where you pay all the money to Aaron Judge. This is the game where you're eventually going to pay a ton of money to Juan Soto. Those type of bats have to come through behind their ace in Garrett Cole and push them to a game 6. And then, variance in baseball is weird, right? Maybe they get a big swing off Yamamoto instead of the Dodgers getting a big swing off Rodon. I don't know. It's definitely a tough road. Last point I also want to make, probably not the last point, but a point. Yankees did a very good job managing the bullpen today. Shout out to Boone. Because Tim Hill only went 5 pitches, Clay Holmes 13. Clay Holmes got 4 outs while only going 13 pitches. Phenomenal. Mark Leiter Jr., 18 pitches. If you're using Mark Leiter Jr., that means the Yankees that means they crush Flaherty or they're getting crushed and they got to get innings in. So he doesn't really matter. He matters, but you know what I'm saying. Luke Weaver, 21 pitches, can go again. And then Tim Mayza, kind of the same thing as Mark Leiter Jr.
The Holmes and Weaver numbers are very, very important. And the absence of Canely in this game is also very, very important.
Huge. Now, because realistically, the plan is Cole for 6, Holmes, Canely, Weaver. Yeah. That ideally would be the plan.
And I hope that Canely doesn't face Ohtani, because if Canely faces Ohtani, Ohtani's going to send a changeup 480 feet.
No.
Yes.
He hasn't been hitting well this series.
He hit a changeup 114 miles an hour off Tommy Canely earlier this week. How about the one shitty throwaway fastball Canely had to just break up to 58 consecutive changeups or whatever it was? He spiked 96.
Yeah, that fastball probably looks 103 after seeing just change.
Yeah, but it was nowhere close. Like, at least make it competitive. It's a fastball. Like, it's what you learned to throw when you were 4 years old. Just do that.
What did you think about Dave Roberts' plan in this game? Kind of punting it again in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, really just going to Knack and Honeywell and just kind of saying, yep, we'll see him tomorrow.
I thought it was fine, especially when you have 3 games in 3 days at this point. It was beneficial for them to not throw Vesia, to not throw Kopech, to not throw Gratterall, to not throw Trinan, obviously.
And the Yankees have had no success off any of those guys. So I'm saying, right, advantage Yankees with Cole versus Flaherty. Sure, it's a better matchup, but still advantage Dodgers bullpen. Still.
Who was the quote-unquote leverage arm that they saw today? Daniel Hudson?
They didn't see a leverage arm today.
I mean, Hudson has thrown in leverage for them this season, but that is the closest thing. Yeah, Kasperi is for 2, Hudson for 1, Knack for 4, Honeywell for 1. By the way, Knack looked pretty good.
Knack did look good.
Knack looked good. So I'm not saying, like, go to Knack again, but I'm just saying I understand the quote-unquote punt. And I understood it in the CS, and I understood what Ken Rosenthal was essentially reporting on in the CS, too. They got some blowback. This makes a lot of sense managerially from Dave Roberts. You're up 3-0 in the World Series. You know that you're turning to your trio again to wrap it up of Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler. You know that all 3 of those guys just turned in excellent, excellent starts against this team. If you can bolster that by giving you a healthy, rested Trinan, a rested Vesia, a rested Kopech, a rested Gratterall, what he just did for Game 5 was so important.
And they're going to let those guys run because they have a day off the day after this, right? The travel day from New York back to LA. So they can get as many pitches as possible. So let's say Flaherty doesn't look great. Right, let's say he gets through 3 scoreless, and in the 4th inning, he gives up a 2-run home run. He might be out of there. And then they go to that bullpen and really close the door because, as much of a biased Yankee fan in the moment kind of guy, I can fully recognize that this bullpen is full of freaks, full of dudes who could just punish us. I mean, they're so good. Vesia, another mistake by me, harping on Evan Phillips and not giving Vesia and Gratterall their due, right? They were hurt going into this, and now they look amazing. I mean, Vesia looks unhittable. Vesia can be put in against any lefty in our lineup, and it's almost say goodnight. And he even's great against the righties. Kopech, Verdugo got that home run off him, but, I mean, he had a 4-run lead. It's kind of one of those where a guy just clips it. He's throwing it down the middle, daring you to hit it. He's not walking anybody. Verdugo knows what's coming and clipped it. Good for Verdugo, right? But Kopech and then Trinan, who I still think is the best reliever in this entire series. So, yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I'm slightly worrying about the Yankees' chances. But I do believe in Cole, and if he can give us 6 and hand it off to Holmes, Canley, and Weaver, the Yankees have a very good shot of sending it to LA.
Why can't Cole give you 7? Because it's
He can.
2024.
I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
that can happen. But I agree. Give us 8. Shouldn't have been pulled out in the last game anyway.
So my thought is like, give him 7 1/3, and Weaver goes inning and 2/3.
Fuck it. Give them all 9.
Give him all 9.
Give them all
Sure.
9. Why not?
Sure. You
Why
pay
not?
him a lot.
Yeah, why
Just
not? he's making $1 million a month. Or how much money is Garrett Cole probably he makes? Whatever. He makes enough money in order to go 9. God, I hope he has just a vintage Cole performance. I mean, he looked so dialed in that start. So dialed in. Just an assassin mindset from him. Just one pitch at a time. And he carved through that lineup, which is insanely hard to do. And I think he's going to do it again.
Cole is making $6 million a month
Yeah.
during the MLB season.
Yeah, he should go 9.
36 a year. It's a 6-month season. He's making $6 million a month. He should go 9. He should go 8.
He should go
He should
15.
go 7 1/3, and Weaver should go an inning and 2/3. If you can eliminate one of Holmes or Canley from the equation, that I think is best case scenario for Aaron Boone. Where like
Yeah.
you don't have to turn to one of those guys. I really have 2 guys on my list tomorrow that I would love to turn to, and it's the guy getting the ball for the very first pitch of the game, and it's the guy that I want throwing the last pitch of the game in Weaver. Everybody else, it's like, okay, this is kind of plan B. Holmes is a great plan B. Canley's a really good plan C. I'd prefer not to get to C.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if I can bridge B, and if I only need 10 pitches from plan B, that's awesome. And I can just stick to the 2 in plan A.
Yeah, I would love to give Holmes just kind of an off day. I mean, he pitches every day and he's been doing great. But again, we saw it in Cleveland, right? A guy, when you're pitching every single game of the playoffs, it can start to get to you by the end. So I would love if Cole could go 7, get it to Canley and Weaver and just say goodnight. But we know baseball. It's not going to work out like that. So this is going to be another chess match with aces on the mound, going to the bullpens, the right spots. Baseball needed this.
Yeah.
Baseball needed this to go at least 5. I mean, a sweep would have been a disaster. I think you would agree with that point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was begging for a Yankee win.
Begging.
That's why I texted you like, I understand Yankee or Dodgers 4.5. Like, I was begging for a Yankee win here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to reverse jinx it into fruition. So I'm glad that we got that. Trivia before we go. Who led Major League Baseball in appearances this year?
Oh.
You won't get it. Clay Holmes is outside the top 10.
Oh, I thought you were talking about plate appearances.
No, appearances. Relievers, appearances.
Can you give me a hint?
AL West for the first 2, AL Central, and then 2 Giants.
AL West.
You won't get number 1.
I think you're just going to have to give it to me.
Okay, so TJ McFarland, you were not going to guess.
Yeah.
A's, 79 games that he threw in this year.
Good for TJ McFarland.
Hunter Gaddis and Brian Abreu both threw in 78. Wow. Tyler Rogers threw in 77. And Ryan Walker threw in 76. Tim Herron threw in 75.
Why'd you bring this up?
Because you said Holmes threw every day.
Oh.
And I was like, I feel like there's a guy that actually did throw every day.
Yeah, TJ McFarland threw every day.
TJ McFarland. By the way, Clay Holmes is the postseason leader in appearances. He has 12 appearances. Weaver behind him at 11. Tim Hill at 10. Then Bonda, Herron, Kopech, Cade Smith, Gaddis, Canley, and Trinan.
Yeah. Need to give Clay Holmes an off day, but man, I'm excited. I mean, just give me a glimmer of hope, please. Please. And I will give Dodger fans some credit. I was reading the YouTube comments of the episode that you and Arm recorded yesterday. They are hilarious. They are hilarious. There was people calling me out, but it was saying that, oh, the Yankees are right in this. Yankees in 17. Like 17 game series. Like there were some good ones down there. So shout out the YouTube folks. Shout out the Dodger fans. We're making this fun. We're going to war together. This is fun. And they were making fun of me, and they had some good ones in there.
Love that.
So that's it for this episode of the Just Baseball Show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. And if you did, hit that big red subscribe button on YouTube. Give us some more funny comments and hit that subscribe button for baseball coverage for the rest of the season and in the off season. We got a ton planned. I already foreshadowed a little big time trade that I want to just put in your brain because Galaxy Peter comes out in the off season. I start thinking, and most of the time it comes true. Right, Jack?
I think the LA De La Cruz thing was like a May thing, a May or a June. It's like they should do that.
I still stand by it.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't actually. Make sure to leave a 5-star review.
Yeah,
Spotify, Apple
yeah, you
Podcasts
got
is the best way to support this show. Make sure to take advantage of that bullpen jackpot on BetMGM by using code JustBaseball first, because you get that first bet offer up to $1,500. For Jack and Mullen, I'm Peter Apple. We will see you tomorrow. Thank God we will see you tomorrow because I didn't want to get swept.
it.
And with that, thank you, everybody.